2006 Mercedes MlL 350 rear shock replacement. I'm Brian Essel from Automotive, and I'm going to walk you through the steps of replacing them. So I got my vehicle racked up. I'm going to go ahead and remove the rear tires. And if you guys are doing this at home, you want to rack it up over here on the side by where the mounts, and use floor jacks and jack stands. That way, and you need the suspension hanging. Okay, so now that I got my wheels off, I'm going to go ahead and remove the lower bolt and the nut on the lower shock. But before I do that, I put a pull jack underneath my my suspension and jacked it up and compressed the suspension a little bit. I'm going to take the nut out, and then after I'm done taking the nut out, I'll release the tension. I'll lower the pull jack and lower the suspension all the way down. I've already done it on this side right here. So I removed the bolt, and then I lowered the pull jack down, and that'll allow us to clear everything, and your spring it won't fall out or anything. But you want to do this slowly, so when you lower it down, you want to do it slow. If you guys are doing it at home, use a floor jack underneath the control arm, and then slowly lower the control arm down. To get the bolt out, you're going to need a 24mm socket and a 24mm wrench. So when you remove the bolt, it's going to spring up a little bit. The shock will spring up a little bit, but that's okay. So I've removed my pull jack and lowered my vehicle back down. And now what we need to do is we need to get these panels off on the in the back here. So I opened up my lift gate, and I'm going to remove the panels on the left and right hand side. So we're going to get started by you're going to take your back seats and fold them down. So I'm going to remove this door spill panel right here, and there's going to be a couple Torx bolts here that you're going to remove, a couple here, and I believe that's it. Yeah, and after you get those bolts out here, then you can use a panel popping tool, and you'll pop the panel up and remove it. So after removing the seal panel, I'm going to turn my focus on actually getting the floor panel itself out. And to do that, what we're going to do is on all four corners, there's going to be a little plastic cover like this. You're just going to take your screwdriver in here, pop these covers off, and remove the Torx there. There's going to be one here, and then inside by the back seats, there's going to be one here. You're going to remove and remove here. So after removing the the mounts on the corners here for the floorboard, you're going to need to grab this panel here and put your fingers behind it and pop it up and pop it off. It just has little clips on there. And take that off. Now you're going to need to remove the Torx here for the hinge, and then after you get the hinge removed, then the whole floor will come out. Now that I got the floor panels out, I'm going to remove these side panels here by turning the little slots with the screwdriver, and once you get those turned, you just pop them off. You're going to do left and right side. On the driver's side, we're going to turn, once you get the lid off here, you're going to turn these quarter turn to the right, and then you're going to pop this panel out. Now the next step is to remove the little holders here. So you're going to remove the Torx here. A little further in, there's going to be one here, and you're also going to remove this little bracket here that holds the panel on. So you're going to remove that. There's a torque bolt there. You're going to do that for both sides. After getting the panels out, what you can do now is you can use a panel popper tool and put it by here, or you can use your fingers like I did. I just grabbed my hand like this, and you pop the little clips that hold them on out. So you pop them out. I'm not going to take it all the way off. It's just going to flare about this far. And I'm going to do that same thing for both sides. So you just want it to flare about this far. Next, what you're going to do is on this black panel right here, there's going to be a torque here, a small Torx right here, a torque here, and a torque here. And once you get that all removed, then you lift this panel out. Now with that panel out, then you can take this foam padding here, you can lift it from the bottom and lift it up, and then there's the two screws. So you're going to remove the screw here and the screw there, and the shock will fall down on the, and you'll do the same for this side. And you may be wondering why you took the floor out and stuff like that, because when you get the floor here, it's about this much higher and it won't swing out the bottom. So to get to the shock bolts on the driver's side, I was able to use my impact gun and rip them out. But the other side, I set it up high enough like this, and I put my long mountain flex head ratchet on wrench on it, and I removed the two bolts. Or I'm going to remove the two bolts. So the passenger side, I got the shock bolts unbolted from the top here. I'm going to lift the vehicle back up. Now I'm just going to grab my shock like this, lift it up, and pull it out of the car. This job, we're replacing it with Bilstein shocks, and this is the part numbers we're using on this particular 2006 MlL350. Some of them have different configurations and different shocks, so they may have like a little external valve on the side of it, depending on your model. Some of them have air springs. This one has coil springs. So anyways, this is the model. They come from Bilstein. They come complete with the bumps and the dust boots and everything. Some other manufacturers may not, and you may have to transfer over this old bump stock onto your new shock. But if it's a quality shock, it'll usually come with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower it down, the car down a little bit, and I'm going to get a partner inside the car, and I'm going to stab I'm going to put the shocks back inside the cavity here, like that. And I'm going to just basically look up inside there and line up the holes and push it through. And on the inside of the car, I'm going to have somebody go inside the car and start the two nuts on top for me. I'm going to do that for left and right side. Now that the shocks are stabbed back through, I'm going to go ahead and tighten the top bolts up. You just run them up until they're snug and give them like a quarter turn more. They don't have to be super tight. And then after that, we'll start putting the interior back together. The shock bolts are tightening up. What I'm going to do is just put these black moldings back down on the left and right hand side. So I'll flare the panel out. Drop the molding in place. Make sure all your foam paddings are tucked in where they're supposed to go. So I'll drop the panels in place, and I'll reinstall the torque bolts. So the two bigger ones here on this end, and then the three little smaller ones here in the front. And I'll do the same for the left and right side. These black moldings are resecured back on it. Now we're gonna take the panels here and put them back in. So we're gonna line up all of our little pop clips with the holes in there, and once we get them all kind of lined up, then we'll just kind of tap them around and snap them all on until they're on both on left and right side. I'm going to put the side panels back on, and they just hook in, and then you have these little tabs at the top that you're going to turn and lock it in place. So you're going to do that for the left and right side. So now we're going to reinstall our little hanger brackets here. I guess that's what they call them anyway. And then also we're going to install these little plates. So the plates went over here in the corner. You'll install those. Install the hangers on both panels. Resecuring all these clips. Go ahead and put the floorboard back in, and put the 4 screws on the hinges back on. The hinges are bolted back down. You can go ahead and put this cover back on. Line up the little clips, snap it into place, and you can go ahead and reinstall the hold downs on all 4 corners, and then pop the covers back on. Now I'm just going to hook my floorboard back up on here like this, and then reinstall the lower panel. So you're just going to line up the little clips on the bottom with the holes here, line them up and push them down and snap them into place, and then the 2 screws that went this way, you can flip your seats back up and close your hatch, and that completes the interior part of the job. Now we're going to lift it back up and finish reinstalling the bottom of the shock. Back in the air, I put my pole jack back under here, and I screwed it up until the shock lines up with the lower controller. Now I'm going to slide my bolt through and tighten this at home. You can use the floor jack underneath and jack it, or you have an option. You can put the wheels back on, and you can lower the vehicle and use the weight of the vehicle to compress the suspension and then line up the bolt, but you'll have to crawl underneath the vehicle to do that. After tightening up the bottom bolts, now you can go ahead and throw your wheels on and torque those down, and that'll complete the job of replacing the rear shocks on a 2006 MlL350. I'm Brian Essick from How-To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. Encourage you to stop by the howtoautomotive.com website and to subscribe. Thank you again.